Okay, nothing else heard. Really going to be a quiet night, that's for sure. But I'm going to go ahead with the with the check-ins and the broadcast tonight. In any event, if I can just sort my microphone out. Greetings to one and all, and welcome to this week's net. Those wishing to join the net are more than welcome to do so using Zoom as well. If you do not have the Zoom link, please contact me on WhatsApp 082-859-2684, and I'll send you the link with the greatest of pleasure. So today is Sunday, 21 January 2024, and the time is 19:05. We begin the weekly net with the radio amateur check-ins on the Rudderpert repeater for 5 minutes before proceeding. This net is broadcast every Sunday evening starting at 1900 and is broadcast for the benefit of radio amateurs, disaster relief cert volunteers, and members of the general public. Everyone is welcome to participate using either amateur radio, Zoom, or both. I'd like to remind all radio amateurs who have not checked in that you do not need to be a member of any group or club to check in or to use the repeater or any of the amateur radio bands. All that is required from you is that you have a valid amateur radio license issued by ICASA, which automatically grants you the right to use any of the amateur radio bands at any time. There is no need to ask for or be granted permission from anyone to use the repeaters or the amateur radio bands. I'd also like to encourage all the listeners and participants to share this weekly net, a Zoom link with everyone they know throughout South Africa. Doing so will help us grow the weekly net and will contribute to disseminating information as far and wide as possible. Now, this is a time that I usually start unpacking the COVID-19 figures. However, I must tell you, it's been a month now. It's, I think, the 19th of December. That was the last time that we got reports from the World Health Organization. The NICD hasn't given anything since, in essence, the 12th of December. So we can't even report on the diphtheria, the measles, the rubella, or anything along those lines. In general news, I'm just going to move on there based on an article published in Relief Web regarding an update on the 17th of January regarding the recent flooding in KZN. I'd just like to quote from the article. So the number of casualties increased after the floods due to heavy rainfall and thunderstorms that affected the KwaZulu-Natal province in eastern South Africa since 12 January. Media reports as of 17 January, at least 13 fatalities due to river overflow in 2 of the municipalities in the area. 6 people have been injured due to a severe weather-related incident, and 3 people have been rescued in Tangati town. There are several areas that have flooded and that were also evacuated. So moreover, roads, bridges, infrastructure, and electricity network have been severely damaged. And they estimated that for the next 48 hours, more rainfall was expected, with locally very heavy rainfall over the eastern South Africa. However, that didn't actually occur. Unfortunately, the 18th and 19th of January, things seem to settle down a little bit. All right, this is going to be a short net tonight. I want to finish off with part 3 of the series that I began 2 weeks ago from the ICRC, titled Not Child's Play, Protecting Children's Data in Humanitarian AI Ecosystems. So, from the blog at https://blogs.icrc.org/law-and-protecting-children-data-in-humanitarian-AI-ecosystems. I thought I was bad with long URLs, but the ICRC actually requires that I do that for every article that I quote from. Okay. And of course, this is the website, which is the Humanitarian Law and Policy website for the International Committee of the Red Cross. Last week, I stopped on the paragraph as follows. Moreover, there is no guidance available as to which ML or machine learning capabilities from humanitarian action work should not be integrated in global AI or artificial intelligence systems deployed for commercial purposes. So in part 3, as I say, it's going to be a very short one tonight. To conclude, the next paragraph goes on under the heading, 3 recommendations for the humanitarian AI ecosystem to become child-centered. In the humanitarian sector, the shift from responsive to anticipatory action is powered by AI. Many of the international organizations, governments, non-profits, and for-profits involved on the ground have started integrating ML/AI practices into their work. But there is insufficient scrutiny for the protections afforded to children when data that is required for access to services is fed into AI systems. As we move beyond the ML hype and the AI techno-solutionism, urgent changes are needed for the humanitarian AI ecosystem to become child-centered. We make 3 recommendations for the responsible use of artificial intelligence by humanitarian organizations and their private sector partners. Firstly, improve transparency around the children-related data points, personal and non-personal data that is added to the AI/ML models deployed in humanitarian context and assessing their long-term consequences. Number 2, specify how AI systems are designed and in particular how they are configured to unlearn in situations of high vulnerability. And then lastly, number 3, develop a public register of tested and vetted AI solutions in use in humanitarian contexts, and to set a minimum standards of data protection and data use when it comes to data for and about children. Strengthen collective learning before humanitarian needs arise, and allow for public scrutiny during and after emergencies. It is key to set adequate safeguards for children in the humanitarian AI ecosystem now. We owe it to them and to the generations to come, whose life opportunities and well-being depend on it. Well, there you have it. The final part 3 of our topic by the International Committee of the Red Cross, basically covering, sorry, I've just lost my place, not child's play, protecting children's data in humanitarian AI ecosystems. So that being said, there's quite a bit to be done with regards to AI. I think a lot of people are still busy learning how, where, when, how to implement it, how to develop. And of course, now, how do we deal with this with regards to the humanitarian system? The other thing that I would actually raise, just as a sideline, is that in terms of humanitarian efforts during disasters, in particular, large-scale emergencies, it's not often that AI might even be possible due to, electrical constraints, IT infrastructure, technology in the areas or regions that are in actual fact affected. So I think this is more for our first world countries and looking at how to deal with maybe a smaller scaled emergency or disaster related systems, and not something that's extremely wide based as a whole. Okay, so that being said, in closing, I'd like to encourage everyone to register as a disaster relief cert volunteer and to prepare and train to assist local communities for when disasters strike. If there are any radio amateurs that'd like to check in, I want to call on you now and ask you to please go ahead. I'll add you to the bottom of the list. ZS6OP is standing by. Okay, nothing else heard. Well, this week, no check-ins at all, but I'd like to thank those that were listening. And also just point out that as the COVID-19 pandemic is still ongoing and still infecting thousands weekly, please remember to physically distance yourselves and to wear a mask to protect others, especially the elderly who could lose their lives if infected with COVID-19. And remember, it's always best to sanitize and wash your hands on a regular basis in any event. Doing so will also assist in stopping the spread of other respiratory diseases as well. So for the week moving forward, be safe, be prepared, and of course, be happy. This is ZS6 OPS releasing the Roodepoort repeater for general use. Cheers all.